seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Top of the league, looking down on the Rangers. Celtic won by 4 goals. What a performance. And Celtic are now 5 points clear at the top of the table, as Otto Edberg would say. So, thank you for joining me, Mark and Phil. Thank you for joining me. Fresh from your PMP last night. I was watching it at 1 o'clock this morning. Absolutely brilliant, lads. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Celtic were just great yesterday. I mean, it was so good to watch. Jota's wee second goal. I mean, now they're wanting McGregor back in the goals. Honestly, what a day, lads.
Aye. I'm not surprised, Reegan. I listened to a lot of the post-match stuff. I'm not a big fan of the Clyde one or anything, but I listened to that just for laughs. And the full focus was on, unsurprisingly, Rangers' shortcomings rather than Celtic's determination, ability, skill, managerial know-how. You know, it was just all about how the goalkeeper sold the jerseys. And it was a brilliant performance by Celtic. And it was why not live long in the memories, I think. Am I right, Phil?
Oh, definitely, mate. As I said last night, you get these games that come on every so often where we get a big scoreline against them, and as I said, like there's always a goal in amongst those that will just like live forever. And I definitely firmly believe that Jota's will be one that will be for years to come. We'll be talking about it in the same bracket as Larsson's, honestly, in the 6-2 game, because that was sublime. The pass for it. And then the finish at the angle that he was at, didn't have to break his stride or nothing. It was magnificent. I just summed it up yesterday. Everything just could go right. Everything just was perfect from Celtic yesterday. So yeah, I'm more than happy to just keep talking about it. You know, I'm more than happy. So yeah, thanks for having me on as well, guys. So yeah, it's going to be a good day.
No problem at all, mate. No problem at all, mate. I mean, I just thought Celtic were great. The one thing I didn't like was Joe Hart kept playing the ball up for the back when we were 2-0 up and stuff like that. I just wish Joe Hart would just try and be a bit, try and go longer with the ball. I mean, it just kept causing us problems. And then the one time that he did play it, he played it to Carter Vickers, and Carter Vickers got his cell booked as well. I'm thinking he could have saved all of the hassle and just putted the ball at the park. I know Ange wants us to play lovely football, but sometimes there's a time and a place to play football. And see when you're playing it in tight spaces, I think it's difficult for Celtic. The one thing that did strike me yesterday, I said this to you guys in the chat as well, was that as soon as that Rangers team came out yesterday, I was thinking they were set up so negatively, and I thought it set us down to a T, playing Davis and Lundstrom and Sands as well. I mean that's like three centre midfielders, and I think for Celtic they just totally dominated the game. I'm just so impressed with Celtic. I mean, the only one thing I would say is I did say last week, Mark, that Giakoumakis might get injured during the season and we might need a striker. So that's one thing that I will pull Ange up on. I did say that we need a striker because Giakoumakis does get these wee impact injuries like a hamstring, like a shoulder injury, and for my money, I think Kyogo's a fantastic player, but I think we've got a great replacement and Chaos. I mean, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I just think Rangers players are scared of Giakoumakis. To be honest, I thought he played well when he came on, but fair play to him as well because he came on after I think it was 1 minute and he put in a great performance. He probably should have scored just as he came on when a great ball was put in by Reegan, and the ball comes straight into John McLaughlin's hands. But I thought he should have scored that as well, Phil.
The thing is, with his performance, he did put in. I think say yesterday. Like I know he didn't score a goal, but when he came on, right, when the injury initially happened, obviously there was a bit of dread around the stadium, right? Where it's like, because you don't want to see any of our players get injured, but because here on this show, we are very, very pro Giakoumakis, and we know how much he scares that Rangers team. So I had a bit of a smirk on my face knowing he was coming on because, even though he didn't get a goal in the end, he put in more than enough of a shift and gave them all sorts of problems because he's awkward to play against. He's just a guy that they just don't know what to expect from him because he will do the unexpected out of nowhere. And yeah, he was running and bragging at times yesterday, just dragging guys out of position. But in terms of the header, say he's threw himself at it at a bit of an awkward angle, but he's done more than enough at the end of the day. I can't really, fault him for anything else. No, if he could have got a goal, it would be perfect. That's the only thing that he's missing against Rangers after all these good performances, and he will get his goal eventually. But I mean, coming on after a minute, how hungry he was and how ready he was for it as well. He was so up for it, and didn't need a proper warm up or anything on the sideline. He was gunning for them, and he's the Rangers defence. If they've seen the last of him, he will be causing them more problems this season, no doubt about it.
The only thing for me, Phil, was the fact that we only scored 4 goals. I thought if we'd have been more clinical, we could have scored at least 7 goals.
That's it. Demand more, Reegan. Perfectionist. I love it, mate. I love it. The thing is, there was a few moments yesterday, right? We don't want to be too critical of anything, but there was a few instances where you feel like, again, they're trying to score the perfect goal. They're trying to pass it a bit too much. A couple of times it felt a guy on the edge of the area and it opens up in front of them and they go for like a wee dink over the top or try to pass it through and it doesn't come to anything. And it's like, just have a perfect goal. But yeah, in the end, 4 goals put past Rangers. It's not much to really grumble about, but yeah, there is sometimes you just feel try to overplay it just a tad. Sometimes a wee bit of intuition. I mean, it goes back to what you're saying about Joe Hart about the pass out from the back. I know Ange has told him to do that. That's the way he wants him to play. Sometimes you've just got to use your own intuition. Sometimes, especially with the European game that's coming up through the week, there's going to be instances where Real Madrid are going to close us down in so many areas and might look at the situation in front of him and be like, maybe that's not a good idea, but we'll see on Tuesday. But we'll get on to that in a little while, I'm sure.
Yeah, I want to come to you now, Matt, because I just thought that from what I was hearing for the past week, I thought Gio had Ange Postecoglou was sussed. I mean, I think you heard it from Barry Ferguson, from Kerry Miller as well, from a few ex-Rangers players as well, Mark Haley, a few of them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we had him sussed, but maybe the fact they had him sussed was to try and keep the score down from last week. Because the Celtic scored scored 9 goals last week, and he thought that Anthony could have scored down to 4. You know.
Well, his game plan at Hampden was to rough us up and he got away with it because Bobby Madden was giving his goodbye present to Rangers and the lot called loyal. So good riddance to that prick. No, and his game plan yesterday, I said it on last night's show. It was without a shadow of a doubt. His game plan yesterday was, they knew they couldn't match us with footballing ability. They couldn't go toe to toe and man to man with us, so they had to rough us up. And ironically, the player that they injured in the first minute was replaced by somebody who we all wanted to start in the first place. It was magical, you know what I mean? So they were actually masters of their own downfall. I had Kenny Miller. I did a wee bit of digging last night to see all the stuff people were saying before the match. Kenny Miller was saying that Rangers were better than Celtic at the Ibrox game. They won 2-1. That game could have been 4 or 5-1 to Celtic. Abada missed 2 absolute sitters. One of the sitters he missed, the goalkeeper wasn't even on his line or nothing. He was running back for the side of the goals. I could have scored that. That game could have been 4 or 5-1. It was Celtic just took a foot off the gas. Second half, they just seen the game out. They showed a different side to them. So they did. They just kind of blew that myth that Ange's got one game plan at the ways. Because I think he kind of controlled that second half, and I think yesterday was the exact same. Second half, Celtic just they can serve their energy for Tuesday night. I think they've got a big match coming up. I think if Rangers had get lucky and made it 3-1, I think Celtic will have just ramped it back up again at a different gear. So I think we're by far a bit. Do you know, it's the Rangers are a very good team. There's no denying that. I mean, but did they take away for the fact that Celtic they just blew them out the water yesterday? We were a far better team than them yesterday. In every single position, from the goalkeeper to Morelos that they brought on in the last 20 minutes, not one of them would get in their starting 11. I don't care what anybody says. No. There's not many players in their squad that would get in their squad. I really don't think there would be. They have so Celtic deserve all the credit for yesterday. So if Kenny Miller and Mark Hateley and all the rest of them, if they let us spout that Celtic are somehow sussed by Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, and that to them looks like keeping the score down to 4-0, then I hope to God every Rangers manager that they get the rest of their history has got their manager sussed out to the same degree, because it's going to be a long season for them if they think coming to Celtic Park and roughing up players is a game plan that's going to win you points. That only worked at Hampden because Bobby Madden knew he was leaving and he could get away with anything he wanted. There was like 6 or 7 incidents in that match that Lundstrom should have been sent off. I think I seen something like they had like 25 fouls or something in one match.
Well, Mark, a minute ago, Lanky had a comment up saying that Lundstrom should have been sent off after 20 minutes. I don't think he even got booked, did he?
I don't think he did, mate. The guy was an animal. The guy's an animal. See if I seen that guy play, I would say that's a Rangers player. I think somebody mentioned it. My dad mentions it all the time. I think somebody mentioned it on the show. Like, their number one player in their history was a defender that just wanted to break people's faces and break their legs. Their number one player in their history was a guy with just sheer skill and ability, and we treasure the type of players. But the guys that go down their history. I mean, I watched a video yesterday that one of them posted. It was titled Battle Fever. It was just a video for about a minute and a half of Rangers players try to break people's legs. Not at one stage did I see a nice goal or a silky winger or that's where we're different to them, mate. They'd rather break your leg than score a nice goal. That's them. That's them summed up.
See, to me, the tackle on Maeda is a sending off.
Yeah. Agreed.
The tackle on Maeda's right at the back of the leg.
And then as you could see it coming, that's what I said to the boys next to me at Celtic Park as he was breaking, and you saw Goldson just labouring behind him. I said, he's going to take him down here. Just lunges in completely reckless. He's got away with it with the fact that there was other Rangers players in front of Maeda, so it was deemed that he wasn't technically right through on goal. There was still, so that's why he's got away with it. But when you see the replays,
it was still dangerous though.
It's dangerous.
He put his full 8 studs or whatever it is I've got right in the back of his thigh, the back of his calf. I mean, that's an injury waiting to happen. Doing that to somebody, especially running at that tempo. But do you know something? I see if that's their tactics. It might work at Ibrox because the crowd might get tackled and the referee might be a bit more sympathetic and allow a few more challenges to get in. But he would. I thought the referee yesterday was a fucking joke and all. I mean, sometimes when it comes to these matches, the last throw of the dice for the people who actually know football. People who know football know Celtic are only just lucky. Celtic have got a lot of ability, good manager. So these guys, when they're picking referees for these matches, the last throw of the dice, I think, for them is to bring on somebody they know is staunch and somebody they know is going to give them that edge against Celtic. And he tried his best. But the Celtic weren't getting up and arguing. They were just getting up, placing the ball down, taking free kicks quickly, just running rings around them. And it was going to take more than the referee and Stephen McLean holding up stupid minutes for extra time yesterday. They could have brought in Hugh Dallas yesterday. Wouldn't have been a difference. We were just so far above what they wanted to happen that this Celtic team could lose against Dundee in their next match or whatever. It's capable of doing that, but it's also capable of magical things. You know what I mean? And if we hit top form on a day where they just have no clear game plan, then shit like that's going to happen.
Another thing I wanted to touch with you guys is that's impressing me. Celtic are six matches into the season and they're already 5 points clear. They've got a superior goal difference. And we play Livingston at home next week, which I'll be going to as well after the Real Madrid game. And I'm expecting us to score 5 goals against Livingston. And then I
hope so.
And then the following day, Rangers play Aberdeen away. So you're expecting us to go into that game 8 points clear before Rangers even kick a ball.
I'd like to think so. I mean, Livingston have been a wee thorn in our side in recent years since they came back up to the Premier League, and especially since David Martindale's became manager. They got a 0-0 draw at Celtic Park last season. But the way we're playing right now, I mean, it's such a weird stat. The only goals we've conceded are to Giakoumakis, the Ross County defender, twice this season. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
But when you spoke about the game that we had against David Martindale say last year, that was the one when everybody was writing Giakoumakis off. But when he missed that penalty in the last minute.
People are jumping down Russell and Mark's throat for saying that Moyes a bit of an underwhelming signing. A lot of people weren't too impressed with Giakoumakis at this time last year when he missed that penalty.
So, well, that's the same folk as well, but Phil, quickly, that's the same folk I know. It was, and I heard a couple of them like really lambast other Celtic fans for suggesting that Maeda should be starting over Abada. Well, I think the Celtic fans like me, who's not got a clue what they're talking about, we've asked for Abada to be playing, and the 160 minutes or something that he's played, Celtic have scored 14 goals. 13 goals. So I'll let these people make up their own mind and what the front three should be. It's no accident that Abada scored 2 goals. I mean, Maeda came on yesterday when the game was won, so the intensity was different, but he offered fuck all. I mean, if he purely took the 2 players, Abada and Maeda, doing his ability, nobody in the world would start Maeda. You know what I mean? I know they're different positions, but Maeda is accommodated, which means Jota gets shifted, which means Abada is the one that gets dropped. No, but the Livingston game, Reegan, if I can, I think you need to take every game individually. I don't think we should be expecting or holding Celtic to a higher standard than what we have in previous seasons. I think it's just going to be a case that every game's different. I would take a 1-0 next week as long as we're top of that table with the 8 points that you suggested. They've got a tough week. We might lose a bit of momentum on Tuesday, but I think we're prepared for it. I don't think anyone's expecting a victory. But they've got a tough week. They've got Ajax away, which it wouldn't surprise me if they picked up 3 points, but they've also got Pathology. And don't be shocked if you see the referee just happen to be John Beaton.
Do you want me to throw in a start?
Go for it. Love a start.
So Carlo Ancelotti has never beaten Celtic at Celtic Park.
How many times has he managed? How many times has he managed this against us?
3 times.
Wow.
Is that right? I know.
AC Milan. It's got to be AC, isn't it? It has to be.
Yep.
AC Milan.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not in each game. We beat them 2-1.
Yep.
He was a manager at that point, right? So it is, aye.
Yep.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, actually, see, when you mentioned AC Milan, I also heard them kind of like giggling a wee bit on the show last night when Clyde won. I hate mentioning that show because it's a lot of shit. But it's only the European champions, and I was shouting to my phone. How many times is a European champions? Barcelona holding European champions, AC Milan holding European champions, came to Celtic Park and walked away with nothing. Man U, the finalists of previous season, couldn't beat us. You know what I mean? Teams that have went all the way just in that era, at that period of time. I know that I'm expecting anything shady, but I'm just saying, like, I found it a bit ridiculous to suggest just because of a status in the game means that Celtic couldn't get a result from them. I think it's the opposite. I think that sometimes your status in the game lifts the opposition.
Reegan, would you like some good news, mate? Would you like to hear that? A really good. This is a stat, by the way. This is a good number stat. Currently, you've got 136 people watching, 144 people watching live. So it's my duty to remind everyone to like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you want to become a bus member, you can do that as well. And also check out @Hoops Raffles on Twitter and Instagram, as it's going on the ticker tape at the bottom just now. But yeah, 147 you're up to now, mate. Good stuff.
Aye, so everybody can like and subscribe and share the content, because me and Mark, we always get up nice and early on a Sunday to do this, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't we, Mark?
Okay, mate. It's a wee bit of a shift for us, but we enjoy doing it. So if anybody wants to lie in their bed and just tune in, that'll be good. It's good to see people enjoy what we're talking about.
150 now. It's going up, by the way.
So I want to now talk to you about Jota, because I think this is no disrespect to Celtic, but I think this guy is just. I mean, I heard Mark saying it last night on the PMP, but this guy's just a level above. He's absolutely brilliant. He's just, honestly, I just think he's one of the best talents in European football. That's no exaggeration. I just think he is.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I think it was been said already on the show, like, how did Benfica's, like, you've set up, like, sleep on this guy? How did they, like, miss this talent? He spent the last few years getting loaned out constantly. I think before us, he was on loan at Real Valladolid in the Spanish La Liga.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been one of these guys, a bit like Carter Vickers again at Spurs, where he's just spent most of his younger career just going out on loan every single year. And yeah, as the story goes, a lot of Benfica fans are really, really unhappy that the price that we've got him for been able to get away. So they recognise that this boy was a talent. It seems like the fans do, but somebody at Benfica in the boardroom, whatever, has had a blind spot with him, and it's just slipped right through the net and right to our advantage. But he is a talent, and he's going right to the top of the game, no doubt about it. So let's really enjoy him.
I mean, I'm going to make a statement here, but I think he could be the biggest signing fee that we get for a player. I think we could be talking about 30-40 million pounds, because I think if you go around Europe, right, and you're looking for a young player, he's got to be on the top 5 list of players. Because
I don't think that's outlandish. I think you're right, mate.
Because he's playing Champions League now, he's scoring goals against Rangers, he's making it look so easy, and he's just a joy to watch.
Well, he's exciting. I don't think you'd have to download his highlights reel to see him make some magic happen. I think you see magic in every match he plays. We'll see. I think, to be honest with you, the reason why when we command high fees is when players start to date in Europe. He did score goals in Europe last year. I think he scored against Leverkusen.
Leverkusen,
aye. And he didn't look out of place in that level of football. So I think that the Champions League, see a couple of good performances for him. His market value will rise up, and I think that's what his market value deserves to be.
Definitely.
I know that maybe we're suggesting that we should celebrate that, but I think you're right, mate. I think he's got the potential to go as high as what his headspace lets him. I think if he keeps the same enthusiasm for the sport as what he's doing just now, I think he's going to go to the very top. And I heard him speaking yesterday, telling a reporter just to calm down and
I seen that.
And I like that, Phil, because it just goes to show you that he referenced how the press last year had written Celtic off when they were 5 points behind.
They did.
So it just goes to show you that at the very least, Celtic players are keeping an eye on the press, and they're using that as a motivation, but they're also not getting into complacency in their heads. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if we are 5 points clear with 2 games to go, I think they'll still be saying to themselves in the dressing room, we've still got a league to win here. We've still got to win these matches. You know, we've still got to win the next match. And I think that's also important. I think momentum isn't something that you can pick up and put back down again. It's Livingston on a Saturday afternoon, and it's also Tynecastle on a Wednesday night. You just got to go into it with the same attitude, and I think Jota offers that. I think last season's second half form dip wasn't a form dip, as some people have mentioned it. It was the guy had a wee bit of a lengthy spell out for injury, and it was probably his first injury he's had in his young career. So you can't just pick up like that. So he's had to get his gallop again, and I think he's certainly found that this season, and he's playing a brand of football that I think if you're a neutral, I think Celtic are playing on TV. I think you tune in to see guys like that play.
Aye.
I mean, to talk about it, I think, see Jota, he's everything that Rangers fans want Ryan Kent to be. They think Ryan Kent's this £30 million player that's going to go to the Premier League, and I think he's only scored something like two goals. I mean, it's unbelievable how this guy's been talked about for English Premier League, and I just don't get it.
The facts of this, you can see most of the players, right? They're elevated by the press, and maybe even some of them believe their own hype. But look at the Connor Goldson thing, for example, right? He was out the door last season. He was running his contract down. He was going to go, and he waited, and he waited, and that offer from the Premier League never came. Steven Gerrard never came in and got him. He had to sign a new deal. I mean, he looked so off it yesterday, right? Ryan Kent, again, they talk about, you say, £30 million player. Is it no coincidence that nobody ever comes to these players? And of course, the biggest example of that, of course, is old Buffalo Brains himself, Morelos. You know, it's become a running joke now. It's actually a meme, the amount of teams he's been linked with. You could actually have a bingo card of what teams he's been linked with over the last 3 or 4 years at Rangers, and nobody ever comes in for them. And his head, literally his head. These players are not even. If they're going to sell them, they're going to sell them for way, way below what they think. They saw us selling Dembele years ago, and they used to coin this phrase Dembele dollars. And it's like, well, we're not taking the piss. We got the best part of £20 million for Dembele. We're not exaggerating it. There's like literal proof out there. It's something like €22 million, which equated to like £19.7 million. But they seem to think that Morelos would get that type of fee, and then it's not going to happen. They'd end up selling him for a couple of million at the most if somebody eventually took a chance on him.
Well, I said, Phil, I placed 2 bets on Twitter. I placed the first bet I placed was the first one was a bit of a laugh, but I said I would do it. I said I'd be a voluntary labourer if they put any bricks down to build that fantasy hotel at Celtic Park. I said that's not going to happen. I also said I'll put £100 into charity for every million they get over 8 million for Morelos. and I said that at a time when he was scoring 25 goals. I don't think the guy's he's definitely checked out at Rangers, but he can't be hard to deal with to get him to come to a club. Not one club's asked him to come, you know what I mean? The guy's without a shadow of doubt, he's found his level, and
there's a quote mark for your brother on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. This is obviously a quote from some journalist, because he's put it in quotation marks. If it wasn't for Suarez, Morelos would be a fit at Barcelona. What journalist said that, Ryan? If you can come back in and tell us, because it's clearly a quote from somewhere. Who said that? It sounds like something a Scottish press journalist would say over the last few years. It definitely sounds like it.
I think you're talking your Roger Hannahs here, or maybe you're I was going to say Keith Chegwin. Fuck's it, Keith Jackson. Maybe half of Keith Chegwin. But you mentioned there Ryan Kent, and you know he's not getting any end product. I mean, he's the off fur coat, nae fanny. He's neither if he's getting any knickers. He's getting nae fanny. I just don't understand the hype of him. You know, he's literally a guy who just runs about like an octopus, stepping around the place, and I think he put the ball through somebody's leg yesterday, and that'll go into that guy's highlight reel on YouTube. But see, the highest I've seen him being linked was Leeds United, maybe 2 years ago, and I think they did place a bid, but I think the bid must have been knocked out because they would expect him to come back in with a higher bid, and they went, oh no, we're not paying that. I think the Bassey deal is probably got them into this thinking that they're going to get 25 million for every player now. But that's not the case. I think there's levels, and he for the outsiders was performing every week the way he was performing that he did in Europe, which wasn't the case. He was getting run ragged to guys for Livingston and come in Ross County, that was run them ragged. So we'll find out his level eventually. But I think they're in fantasy land talking about Barcelona and all the rest of it for Morelos and Kent, and we'll see where they go. I think you're mid-chance of going to Bournemouth realistically and going to any high-level team or any European club, to be quite honest with you, and that's for I goes for both of them. They've proved that not one of them would get into a Celtic team, not one of them.
No, the only thing I'm thinking, to appease their fans, they might Morelos and Kent might sign new contracts.
Oh, there. That was the deal. That was the deal, Reegan. I think that was clear as your nose in your face that the negotiations stopped at pre-season there, and I think it was all down to Europe. It was all down to Europe. I think the two of them know they're not going to get probably higher. And I think Kent's probably get an eye in England because he's English. But and another thing about that Kent, I mean, he's got to sort that hair out. That hair is a fucking mess, man, isn't he? And he went through a golf stage. I don't know what stage he's going through now, but he's going to get that sorted. I saw a clip of it yesterday, and I don't know who his barber is, but fuck me, man, that's a mess.
It's nearly as bad as mine.
It's not.
Anyway, guys, I now want to talk to you about Tuesday, because for me, we've got a big choice to make. Is it Starfelt? Is it Starfelt or is it Jens? Starfelt took a knock yesterday, but I think if it was Andy's choice, who do you think he would pick for Tuesday night's game?
If Starfelt's definitely taking a knock, then it's obviously going to be Jens. If the two of them are fit, I don't know what Ange will do, because I think he was still leaning towards Starfelt. Now, yesterday at the game and the adrenaline of it all, I didn't notice a few of the clangers that Starfelt had. The one that did stand out was he misjudged a header. Him and Joe Hart went for the same ball and there was no communication, and Kolak tried to chip Joe Hart from distance. But other than that, because Rangers didn't score and didn't really trouble us, I just kind of had a sort of blind spot to the defence must have done okay again, because after we came off the air yesterday, me, Terry and Russell were talking, and Terry said, "What did you think of Starfelt?" And I just went, "I thought he was all right, I suppose." They're like, "What? Well, he was absolutely terrible." And I was like, "Was he?" I was like, "But yeah," because I guess it was just caught up in the adrenaline of the game. But apparently there was quite a few, and I've seen the highlights back now. There was a few misjudged headers. There was one where he had so much space all around him. He had plenty of time to just judge the ball, come down, control it, maybe pass it, but he headed it right back to a Rangers player. But I think if Starfelt, I still think that Ange that's still his go-to partnership. But if Starfelt has taken a knock, then it will be Jens that comes in. And so far, Jens hasn't done anything to say that he's clearly good enough to play. There's no worries, I think, around Jens. It's just going to come down to on the night if Starfelt recovers for his knock. I genuinely couldn't call if Ange is going to stick with Starfelt or no. What do you say, Mark?
I agree, mate. I think he picked Starfelt. I think the two of them are fit. But I watched the full game back last night, Phil. I actually watched the pre-match show and all. It was good seeing Chris Boyd giving his pre-match predictions. But there was a handful of mistakes that he made. And
right, okay.
I'm no Starfelt's biggest fan, but you got to give him credit when he does good things. But you've also got to criticise or at least comment when he does silly things. And he's got these silly things. He has got that Effie Ambrose performance in him, week in, week out. And
yeah,
I'm not saying he does that, but he's always capable of making any mistakes, And I genuinely feel like the guy has done well for Celtic. He's performed at a high level, and he deserves to be number one. But now he's got somebody in who's going to challenge him. I would play Jens on Tuesday. I certainly don't think Starfelt performs at a higher level than Jens. No,
the only thing I was thinking is, right, Kyogo and Starfelt. Ange said yesterday in his press conference, don't know if you've seen it, but he said that Starfelt and Kyogo were looking forward to playing Real Madrid. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if those two will kind of forced himself to play.
I don't think you can allow that, Reegan, can you? Can you allow that? I don't think you can.
No, but I mean, Ange might say, "Are you okay to play?" And they'll go, "I am fine to play."
A player will always do that, won't they? They'll
No,
always be like, "Oh, of course." I mean, I don't know if Kyogo's going to make it. I mean, his arm was in a sling when he was celebrating yesterday. He even slipped when he went to go and celebrate by himself. I say Ange would have been like, "What are you doing? Stop it!" But yeah, when he came down to the corner of the asset and the players were doing all their dancing in front of the fans, he was doing it with one arm. Everyone else was going two arms up. One of his was in a sling, but he's still going for it, giving it loldy. But yeah, he obviously went and slipped as well when he went to celebrate the other corner. But hopefully that's not done any more damage. I've now seen the replay back as well of the Longstream challenge, and it's very,
Oh, it's nasty.
Yeah, when you see it and slowed down the way he's targeted that. But I still think, I think Giakoumakis would be a good option anyway, even if Kyogo was fit, because I think I'm looking at Real Madrid's defence, right? They'll have Rudiger will play because they bought him for Chelsea. He'll definitely be playing.
Militao.
They've got Militao and they've got David Alaba that usually plays their centre backs. I think they've got Nacho Fernandez as well. But I just love that Giakoumakis will show them no respect, whoever it is, and he'll get right in about them. I mean, Rudiger would be a really physical force to play against.
Yep.
But I think Giakoumakis up against them, I think he'll make them work for it. Definitely, he definitely will.
The big thing for me is that Casemiro, from watching La Liga quite a lot, Phil, he was their go-to midfielder, and he's not going to be there on Tuesday because he's signed for Man U for 400 grand a week.
Do you want Mark? Are you? I don't know if you would say something there, but I'll just quickly say I looked at Real Madrid's team, and obviously with him leaving, they've got Camavinga, who we encountered a few years ago playing for Stade Rennes.
He's very good. He's very
good up-and-coming French player, and obviously Modric and Kroos are still there. So, and they've still got a lot in the tank to offer.
Did they not sign a guy from Monaco? Was it the guy beginning with T?
They might very well have. I will double check their squad just now. 2 ticks. I'll take it to VAR. Hold on, have a wee look. But yeah, I was looking at their midfield options.
I'm not got a clue, Phil. I don't watch European football at any level. I watch Celtic. I made the mistake of watching the Man U Liverpool game a couple weeks ago.
When I look at their squad, the one that really intrigues me, I see Eden Hazard's name in their team, but from what I'm led to believe is Hazard has just not really.
No, he's been injured quite a lot, though.
Aye, the guy they bought from Monaco.
I think I read that.
I heard something like that. I heard he might get rested for it, but in that case, then their forward would probably be they've got Mariano Diaz, obviously Vinicius Junior. He's more a winger. Rodrigo's a winger. In terms of forwards, they might do that whole false 9 thing as well, where you'll have a guy that can come in and play that sort of role, like Barcelona used to do. But the guy that they signed from Monaco is a guy named Aurelien Tchouameni. TCHOU. Yeah, I know him.
Well,
just from playing FIFA, I know who he is.
What a player he is as well.
Yeah. He is.
I just want to bring this comment in, Phil. 228 people are now live watching this show.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing, guys. But there's only 12 people that have liked the show. So get a like in the show so that everybody can see it.
Yeah, it improves the algorithm. So yeah, that's fantastic. It's only 12:25 on a Sunday afternoon. 228 watching. Nice one, Reegan. Well done, mate.
There we go.
It's a feel-good factor this weekend, mate. You know what I mean? It's people will not be able to get enough Celtic content. You know what I mean? And
there's Rooster coming in with Real Madrid's lineup for last night. Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba. I can say it's really good. Jordi Alba plays for Barca, and Alaba plays for Real Madrid. Mendy, Modric, Tchouameni, Camavinga, Rodrigo, Benzema, Vinicius Junior. Quite a team.
See their best
even I know their players.
See their best player is that Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior is amazing.
Good player.
Amazing player.
How are we going to call? I mean, I'll probably need to ask you too about this, but I don't think Ange's going to just come in and be swashbuckling. How are we going to stifle them and combat them? Is it by getting in their faces, or are we going to have to play a different type of football? How are we going to just contain them as much as possible? I see that Real Betis get 2-1 last night. They could beat half of Real Madrid. So
See to me
I don't know.
the biggest worry that I've got for the team is that we've got too many ball players in the middle of the park. I think this would have been a perfect night for the new Danish guy, because
Well,
for me,
I was thinking that. I was actually thinking that we need somebody to sit there, don't we, Reegan?
because for me, Mark, right, Real Madrid are going to have a lot of the ball. We're going to get overrun in the middle of the park, and when you've got Rio and you've got Matt and you've got McGregor as well, it's going to be dead difficult to stop Real Madrid. I think you need that kind of a stifling kind of guy, and I think the new midfielder is the perfect man for that.
See, my feeling on Tuesday is the approach we'll take is it will be too dissimilar how we've been playing. I think we'll come at the traps flying quite early and look for an early goal in the hope that if we do, it might spook them a wee bit. But of course, if they weather the storm, given the type of players they've got, and they'll probably have the ability to do that, if it gets through that 20-25 minute mark and we haven't capitalised on like an early, coming at the traps early, and you'll just start to see them playing it around. And we've seen this story before at Celtic Park on European nights when teams come to Celtic Park and just hold on to the ball. Right. And they're able to just waste time and frustrate us. The crowd start to get a bit frustrated. The fans have got to stay patient on Tuesday night. This is Real Madrid we're playing. This is big. If they will have moments to dominate it.
I want to ask Mark this question because see for me, Phil, right, this is a night where we need to be savvy and start wasting time, take throw-ins, take corners. You know what I mean? Like, see if we go 1-0 up. I don't want to see Celtic playing lovely football and doing whatever. We need to take the Rangers approach because we want to win this game. I think, right, if we can get an early goal and then see we get a corner and Big Jens puts us 2-0 up, right? Then we need to become street savvy and go, right, how do we see this game out? Because we can't, like, be 2-0 up, right, and say, right, we're going to just go for this now. We need to manage the game.
Well, last season we went 2-0 up away from home twice and managed to somehow lose the game. And we also scored 4 goals in the other game and managed to make it look nip and tuck, you know what I mean? No, I totally agree with you. If you go 1-0 up, you know what, Joe Hart catching the ball straight away for a high kick and hitting the ball straight. You want to see him take time. If somebody nudges your back, lie down the park for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, take away their momentum. Same with throw-ins, corner kicks. By all means, play to your strengths and look for gaps in their armour. And if it's like, look at it, for instance, Jota's goal yesterday was the exact same as Kyogo's at Hampden. That was just, we were switched on, the opposition, wasn't it? And it just went bang, right through the middle, pass right through them. They 3 players staring at the ball and or staring at the referee, whatever, and we score. Moments like that happen, Celtic need to be switched on, but I would rather be just, if, as you said, we go 1-0 up. Sounds good to me, mate. If we go 1-0 up, great. I think we should just I don't like to say the Rangers approach as you just said there, but there's lessons to be learned for them and how you can play against a team who have a much higher ability level than you, but still manage to get the result you want.
Aye. I mean, the big thing for me as well is we need to respect, right? I know me and Mark are on here every Sunday. We talk about Celtic fans expect to see lovely football, but see for Tuesday, for me that goes straight out the window because for me we need to manage the game because we don't want to see a 7-0 against PSG again.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, when we had the famous win over Barcelona a decade ago, wow, that's a real that's made me feel really old. Did we play good football that night? No, we just did. We hung in the game and took our chances when they came. That's what you've got to do things like that in these type of games because chances will be few and far between. This is not like in a Scottish game where, as I said earlier on, sometimes we're a bit wasteful with chances. We try to walk into the net, but there's always that belief we're going to get another chance anyway, whether we're playing Motherwell, Dundee United, or even Rangers yesterday. But see Real Madrid, see if we do get a chance, we've got to be so sharp and take it. Because that's we're going to live to regret it. Plus, you've got to remember VAR is in play as well, and there's also that risk that goals can get chopped off for the most tedious things due to VAR. An arm is offside. A body part you cannot score with is offside, and it gets chopped off. So,
Phil, I don't know if you've seen it, but I watched the West Ham and Chelsea game last night on Match of the Day.
Right.
Did you see it?
Is it the West Ham equaliser where Edward Mendy? Feigned injury.
So I'll talk to you about this, Mark. Right. So basically, West Ham scored a goal, and then the Chelsea goalkeeper goes down as if he's been injured, but he's not been injured at all. He's just lying down there as if, how can I make sure that they go and check VAR? But basically, the West Ham player scores and then he starts lying down. There's nothing up with him.
And I actually seen David Moyes interview. He was raging. I've got a big West Ham mate, Paul, nice guy. I chat to him every day, and he's not spoken to me about that yet, but I'm sure he was livid with it. This is the things that happen against the bigger teams. Like West Ham are a big club, but when these things certainly go against you when you're playing against the big boys, I'm afraid. And if it's a 50-50 and VAR and all that, it's not going to go your way.
But I mean, I want to get your voice in this, Phil, because surely, right, we speak about this last week as well. VAR is going to be a good introduction to Scottish football, right? But I don't want to see goals being chopped off because a goalkeeper's lying down pretend he's injured. It's just like, what is happening? What is happening?
Especially when you can go and look at the screen. I mean, in England they've had it now for 3-4 years, and I still don't think they're getting it right. No. Everton scored a goal last night or yesterday, and I saw it on Match of the Day. It's very, very borderline.
It's a goal. That's a goal.
It's a goal. There was one a few weeks ago. Did you see that one, Reegan? It was Aston Villa playing Crystal Palace, and a guy's sleeve was offside. Crystal Palace got a goal disallowed, and they analysed it on Match of the Day. Lineker and there's like Martin Keown and Jermaine Genius. Now, like, all they could figure out that must have been flagged offside as part of his sleeve was offside. And as I say, you can't score a goal with your arm, so does it make a difference if a bit of their arm is offside? These are the type of things that are going to frustrate me when it comes in.
The rule should be, sorry mate, if you need to analyse it, then it's onside. If it's like maybe a half a body or a leg, that's offside. But see if you need to analyse it, like you're looking for a nostril or an ear or a fingernail, that's borderline ridiculous. I mean,
I watched the Tottenham game yesterday, and they were talking in the commentary and they're saying this could be inches offside, this could be inches. And you're like, it could be inches. Like, come on, there needs to be a guidance, right? If it's inches offside, then forget it, just leave it.
They're trying to suggest that Jota's goal was offside on one of the radio stations that I listened back to on the yesterday. I was doing a lot of post-match hilarity with myself. I was listening to a lot of like the BBC's coverage, Clive Van's coverage. I wanted to see all the stupid statements they were giving, and I think it was one of them that was convinced it was offside, Jota's goal. And they actually had a TV, the TV, because they mentioned that I just saw a replay. I think that might be offside. I was like, what's that fuck offside? The guy must have been about a good half yard onside. But see, in Scotland, you're saying 4 years in England, where there's not the same level of mistrust as there is in Scotland.
Aye, of course.
Can you imagine? And I guarantee you, so see the VAR, it's got to be for ex-referees, right? That stands to reason, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Hugh Dallas, that's got to be involved in that. And they'll get anonymity. I don't think people know who they are, the VAR people. Yeah. I don't think it's disclosed. That'll be all the guys like Tate, what was it, Bobby Tate and McCluskey, all these ones that have been doing Rangers Orange Sash Bash tours of Blackpool and
Mike McCurry,
just speaker of it. Mike McCurry, aye. Yep. These guys will come back into the fold. I mean, if it's private and nobody knows who it is, they'll take the £500 for sitting at a computer desk getting beanbags the results. I think VAR is going to be used as a way of justifying bad decisions in Rangers' favour in this country. I look at Andy says. I think there's no decision that I've seen that's went to VAR and been discussed afterwards that somebody's not trying to find some paragraph somewhere that would suggest that the Rangers player shouldn't have got sent off or the Rangers goal should have stood or something. So when it comes in here, just buckle in, because I think it's not going to be as profitable for clubs other than Rangers as what you think. That's my opinion anyway.
So Phil, that's been 50 minutes gone. I just want to ask you guys finally, what's your predictions for Tuesday night?
Oh, this is a $6 million question. Do you know what? Let's have a bit of fun with this, because at the end of the day, it is a bit of a free hit, this one, right? And I don't really care if it gets clipped. Oh, look at these Celtic fans, laughing at it. This is Real Madrid. These are the games that are not going to define our group, right? Second place is as good as third place for us. It gets us European football. So I'm just going to have fun with this. I'm going to say we're going to win 3-2. We're still going to concede 2 on the night. I'm going to go for a thriller. If I'm wrong, I don't really care, because I say it's the Shakhtar and the Leipzig games that are going to define our group stage. This one is a bonus.
Phil.
Yeah, I'm allowed to be, but I know what Twitter's like, and it'll be like, oh, look at these Celtic fans predicting they were going to beat Real Madrid. Let's all laugh at them, and it's like, it's Real Madrid. It's the Champions League. We've earned the right to have a bit of fun with this. You know what? Fuck it. Let's say it. 3-2 Celtic. Let's go for it. Why not?
Celtic 2, Real Madrid 1.
Yes, come on.
Celtic go 2 up early and don't know how to manage the game.
Oh,
okay.
Good shout, Reegan. I'm not saying a score, mate. You're not getting that.
Oh, come on you go.
Oh, come on,
you.
No, because I owe it to myself to be honest every time I'm on this show.
Okay.
And I don't want to dampen the mood in a derby weekend. We just won 4-0. I think all I say is I think Phil and Reegan if we get any of the results, I'll be fucking delighted. Anybody that's got a Tuesday match, just enjoy it, enjoy the music, enjoy the atmosphere.
I mean, in the comments, people
don't go
are
in the Players Park.
There's a 7-1. We've also got there you go, Jerry saying, don't think they'll score 5-0. That's what I don't think we'll have a PSG moment where they'll absolutely steamroll. They could very well win, but I think we'll give them a bit of a fight for it. 4-2 to the boys. There's a 2-2. But I've been reading the comments been coming in throughout it, and there's been quite a few that have been quite confident that we're going to do it. So hopefully the mood is good at the moment.
21.
Listen, that goes to the park. See, when the fans show up and they're enthusiastic and there's a smell in the air, that goes on to the park, and the players can feel that and all. Shows that the players have got the fans' trust. So anybody that goes to that match on Tuesday, just I think Phil mentioned it. See if Celtic are 5-10 minutes to foot the ball. Just calm your jets. Let realise where we are in the world and where these guys are, and just it might be a breakaway that we score for if we get a goal or a corner or something. You're not going to see Jota doing wee flicks and tricks and rolling the ball, and he's not up against Lundstrom or Steve Davis. He's up against like Modric. You know what I mean? This is a different level of football than probably we've seen for the Barcelona game. You know what I mean? And
I suppose
just enjoy yourself Tuesday night, because no matter what happens, that campaign is not going to be defined by the first and last game.
No,
correct.
I suppose the big thing for Celtic is that Joe Hart, right, he didn't have much to do yesterday, but he's going to be very, very busy on Tuesday night.
Oh, definitely. He definitely will. Oh, no doubt about it, man. No doubt. I won't be like...
that'll suit him.
Aye? I think so.
The game he lost 4-2 against Leverkusen, it's no spoken about quite a lot. Or 4-3, I think it was.
4-3, aye.
He was outstanding that night. He pulled off a triple save, I think, at one point.
Oh, that's right. The guy had the tap in, and he managed to save it. That's right.
And one of their goals that was scored was set up by him pulling off a wonder save, and he just threw it wide. And then the clip of that goal will be the flick here, and then the wee Forest touch. That'll be the memory of that goal. But it came from a Joe Hart quick thinking throw out or pass that was preceded by a world class save. See, when Joe Hart's been really busy, Joe Hart's had really good performances at Celtic. He's a good keeper, and it's probably, I think it's the opposite for keepers. I think they find it hard to spend 15-20 minutes if they're doing anything, but then be clipped on like that when they're called into action. I think Joe Hart, if they get beat I'm not saying that, but if he managed to get beat on Tuesday by a score that we don't want, I don't think it'll come down to Joe Hart. You know what I mean? He'll be switched on. I think if he plays a blinder, then it could just be another DVD match.
I do like Bob McBob's comment in the comments there, Phil.
He's saying Madrid by 2. To be fair, ever since I've been on this show, Bob McBob's in here, and all he talks about is our European record. Bodo Glint this, Bodo Glint that. So I keep saying, it's in the past now. It's done. It happened. We can't control it now. We forget it, and this is a new season, a clean slate. Madrid by 2 clear goals. It could very well happen. Who knows? It's just we've got the right to just believe and dare to dream. Essentially, we've got the right to.
Well, let him do that. Let him concentrate on Celtic's European record. I would rather concentrate on Celtic's domestic form and see if he did that with his own team's domestic form. He wouldn't be so happy that he's lost 17 titles with the last 21.
Good point. Aye.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. The judge has spoken.
But
Everybody.
Bob's really fair. And in the comments, he's normally quite fair. The guy, I think, he likes to have a laugh and all the rest. He's
a good
quite
guy,
respectful. But I see. Honest with you, that's one thing you can never get me on, because European. If we win the league, that's 90% of our season. The rest is just glitz and glamour for me.
Yeah. I mean, the big bonus if you win the league, Matt, is you finish top of the table and you get Champions League football again.
Mm-hmm.
It's the chance to invest on that next level of player, which is what we want to see.
And a point I wanted to make about Ange as well is, don't know if you guys seen the open goal interview he did last week.
I've still not watched it. Man.
Right.
I've not seen it yet.
So what he basically says at the end, right, he says that Celtic are in a good position, but what he wants to do is he doesn't just want to make the Champions League this year. He wants to make it 2-3 years in a row, so that every single year we do well this year, but then the following year we can bring in better players. Then the following year we can bring in better players. So he wants to evolve us every year. He says, I get that I'm not going to be here forever, but I want Celtic to get back to actually doing things again in European football.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. Reegan's going to ask you something. See, at the end of this season, right? Obviously, win the league, you go into Champions League. See, next season, is that the new Champions League format coming in with the 36 teams?
I think so, aye.
Because that gives you 10 guaranteed games. I think it is, aye. But that's 10 guaranteed games you get now. I mean, it's a really weird, odd format, but it's more.
It was to accommodate it was to be a compromise for the Super League to give the other teams 4 more games. Yeah. It benefits Celtic. 4 more match days, 4 more TV.
More money, more income. Aye. Can attract more players there. Aye, it definitely can.
10 games is a quarter of the season. Aye. So you can. I think when you're attracting players and the Celtic fans say, "Oh, European football," that matters. But that's why players they go to a bottom 5 Premier League team in England, because they wait up, they go right. It's 6 games. Maybe 3 have only got a chance of winning. They're like, oh, you know what I mean? They're like, I'd rather just. So it's even when you get 10 games, it's a bit more. It's like, as I say, it's a quarter of a season. And one thing's for sure, if it is going to go to 10 games, as Phil said, you're going to need a bigger squad to cope with that the demands. If you're talking for guaranteeing 10 games, because they're not going to be 10 games, but 4 of them's been qualifiers in Luxembourg. You know what I mean? It'll be high intense, grueling matches. But I'm looking forward to seeing that new format.
As Rooster's telling us it's actually 24-25, so we've got a wee bit longer to wait. But when that does come in, as you say, it's more games, it's more glamour, and it's more money. It gives us a better opportunities to attract more players. So, yeah, man, it's crucial that we keep qualifying for it. Crucial.
No, it definitely does. Finally, I just want to thank Phil and thank Matt for joining me. It was good to be on today, and I'm looking forward to getting along to the Celtic part on Tuesday. I'm thinking a 2-1 victory, and hopefully everybody can get behind Celtic against Real Madrid, because it's going to be a big night.
Oh, it is.
These guys enjoy.
Oh, certainly will be a intense one.
Mark, so you actually not going to go then? You're going to give the ticket to your brother, aye?
Aye, Ryan's going to go. You might see him, Reegan.
Aye. Whereabouts is he? I'm up at 419 again.
Oh, he's up in Massey, 440.
440?
Aye.
Right,
right, guys, thanks for the show, mate. I really enjoyed that. Thanks to everybody that listened.
Aye, I mean, we're ending on 212 watching live, so again, just a reminder to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, because again, it helps the channel, helps the algorithm. We've been riding on a crest of a wave this week, some great numbers, and again today, fantastic numbers, guys.
I mean, that's quality one in the afternoon film. We get 212 watching. I mean, thank you to the Celtic support, and we appreciate it. And we'll see you again tomorrow for the Monday Club with the two brothers of the bus.
Yes, Jonathan and Russell will be back. So catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
See you later on.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.